you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, hello, my name is Angela. I'm a lawyer who makes videos about law school, lawyer life, and all things in between. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to avoid burnout in final exam season. I know a lot of you guys are right in the thick of studying for final exams, and here soon classes are going to be over and you guys are going to be in full-on study mode. And I just want to give you guys some tips as you make your way through the final stretch, because it is game time. You're probably getting a little weary, you're probably getting a little stressed, and so I just want to give you some motivation so you can push through and do the very best you can as you prepare for your final exams. So the first tip is to set realistic daily goals. I know we've talked about setting up your study schedule, creating your study schedule, and when you are creating a schedule, when you're creating a plan, it's very easy to be very ambitious about what you're going to do because you're not actually in the thick of doing those things. So you'd say, I'm going to study from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Sunday, right? But when you get into the thick of it, you realize, man, I was really ambitious when I was making this schedule. It's kind of like when you're grocery shopping, you're making a plan about all the meals you want to make, and you really see these cool ideas you want to make, but when it comes down to the thick of actually cooking, and it's like a Tuesday and you have all these other things to do, you're like, yeah, I don't think I can make a fancy steak and lobster dinner on a Tuesday night after working all day and putting my 3 kids to bed, right? Like, in real life, sometimes it's just not practical. So breaking up your task into realistic goals for each day will just make your studying more effective because you're gonna be more likely able to accomplish the goals you set. So my suggestion would be to aim for 3 to 5 manageable tasks or goals for the day. So for example, if it is a practice day for you, your goals for the day might be 1, do a quick refresher on the major concepts for contracts, right? And then goal 2 might be to take a practice essay question, a long form essay question, a set of multiple choice questions, and then review your answers and kind of audit what you did and what you didn't get wrong. And then the third task might be to take a look at what you kind of need to work on and then study those concepts. And then you might say, okay, great, I met my 3 goals for the day. If I stop studying, I feel good about what I did, I accomplished what I did, and I feel good about it. And so you feel motivated to continue on the next day because you've accomplished those tasks, because though you were productive, though you were efficient, you were also realistic about what you could accomplish versus thinking you're going to study for 14 hours, giving up after 8 hours, and then feeling like the day was wasted or you didn't do what you said you were going to do. The next tip is to use the Pomodoro technique or studying in intervals technique. This is basically a technique where you study in intervals and then give yourself breaks in between. Studies have shown that this technique helps improve your focus and reduce burnout by giving your brain regular breaks and encouraging productivity. For example, I'm going to study this particular subject and subtopic for 55 minutes. Once I hit the 55-minute mark, I'm going to take a 10-minute break to rest, relax, recharge, drink water, whatever I want to do for those 10 minutes, and then I'm going to get back to the books. And so it's just like basically just giving yourself a break so you can refresh and then doing it all over again. Now I will say this technique is kind of new to me. I didn't necessarily study in intervals like that, but I did take breaks. But in speaking to many of the law students that I work with, they do find this technique very effective, and I've heard great things about it. So if you are having trouble staying focused or being efficient, try out this technique and see if it's something that might work for you. The next tip is to reevaluate your study schedule on a consistent basis. Now, this could be every few days, this could be weekly, this could be every 2 weeks. I would say weekly is probably what's going to make sense for most people, but obviously you do what works best for you. So when you are evaluating your study schedule, basically my suggestion would be to evaluate what is working and what isn't working in your study schedule and then adjust accordingly. So for example, if you're studying a particular subject and there's certain concepts that you feel like you have mastered and then other concepts that you feel like you still haven't wrapped your head around, adjust your study schedule to focus more on those concepts that you need more focus on, and then reduce your efforts in the areas that you've already mastered. Now, this is not saying that you should completely abandon looking at that ever again until the test or not refresh yourself, but don't just follow a study schedule because that's what you set. So if you set 3 hours to focus on this concept, but you feel really strongly about it, take some of that time away and adjust it to focus on areas that you actually need to work on. I think sometimes we can get too rigid on following a schedule because this is what you set out, which is why just going through and adjusting your schedule as you see fit is a good way to make sure you are being efficient and productive with your time. Another thing to look for when you are adjusting and evaluating your study schedule is making sure you are setting enough time for yourself to refuel. I know a lot of people are very hesitant to take like a full day off. I know that was me. I was like thinking like every minute counts. If I take a day off, you know, it's just gonna ruin everything. But if you see that you are being effective with your time and you find yourself feeling burnt out, take some time off to refuel. And again, put that in your schedule. You know, build in time within your schedule to make sure you're giving yourself time to refuel. And then lastly, as it relates to your study schedule, if you haven't done this already, adjust your schedule for when classes are over. Many of you are finishing up your classes or very close to finishing up your classes. So you will have a lot of time given back to yourself because you don't have to go to class. You don't have to commute to class. There's a lot of time that you're going to have to be able to divert to studying and maybe reconfiguring your study schedule. So make sure you adjust your study schedule accordingly. The next tip is to check in with family and friends. We get so focused on final exams, and for good reason. We kind of, you know, reduce our social lives very drastically, but that doesn't mean you can't check in. Honestly, sometimes you just need a good vent session. Call your friends, call your family, call whoever you need and vent. Do whatever you need. Check in with your family and friends. Lean in on your support system. Sometimes when you feel burnt out, when you feel stressed out, sometimes you just need a good chat session. Sometimes you need to just go to your mom's house and hug her. And on a related note, take the holiday off, you guys. This is a question that I used to get very often about whether they should take Thanksgiving off from studying because it's so close to final exams. And I'll be honest, I did not take Thanksgiving off when I was a 1L in my fall semester. When I was a 1L, I lived about 4 hours away from my family, so a quick, easy drive. But I felt so compelled to stay in Houston where I was living and not go see my family because I feel like I just couldn't take the time away to see my family. I couldn't take one day off for Thanksgiving. And looking back on that now, I don't think one day is going to affect whether you get an A+ or a B+ on your final exams, especially when you've been doing what you've been supposed to be doing the whole time. I would encourage you guys, if you have been doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you have been sticking to your study schedule, if you have been studying effectively, productively, take the day off, you guys. Lean in on your friends and family. That day off of just enjoying your friends and family, eating good food, and just having one day to relax might be the recharge that you need to continue to push through for the next couple weeks until final exams are over. Obviously, I'm speaking very generally. You know your situation best, but that would be my suggestion. The next thing is sleep and exercise. Do not neglect your sleep, you guys. Pulling all-nighters, studying to no end is actually counterproductive to what you're trying to accomplish with your studying. If you have a lack of sleep, if you're tired, you're gonna be less sharp. You're not gonna retain all of the information you're studying like you need to if you have no rest. Take time to rest. Take time for downtime. Yes, studying is important. Yes, you're gonna be in the trenches. Yes, you should be absolutely prioritizing studying and working your hardest and your best. However, you have to take breaks. You have to rest. You absolutely should be sleeping because if you're not, it's going to inhibit your productivity. Physical activity. Physical activity is super important, especially when you are spending majority of your days hunkered down at a desk studying. Get out, take a walk, take a Pilates class, hit the gym, do an at-home exercise that you got off YouTube. Do something to move your body daily. I promise you, it's going to help you recharge. Lastly, remember your why, okay? Do not underestimate the power of self-motivation. Remembering your why is gonna help you stay motivated and reignite your willingness to keep pushing forward, okay? When you are in the thick of finals, it can just be very, very stressful. And those feelings of being burnt out and just tired of doing the same old routine every single day will start to get to you. And so that's where self-motivation comes in. Self-motivation is key. Yes, you have plenty of people rooting for you. Yes, you should lean in on your friends and family. You are the person that is ultimately responsible for putting that work in. So if you can self-motivate, it'll just help you keep that fire ignited to keep going. Remember, guys, final exams are a marathon. As you get to different levels in your journey to the final exams, you will experience feelings of self-doubt, feelings of defeat, feelings of burnout. And so staying motivated is key to help you continue to keep going. With that, I'm just gonna remind you guys that you've got this. There is light at the end of the tunnel. This will all be worth it. Keep pushing and everything's going to be great. Thanks so much for watching. If you have video suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at _theaspiringboss. I have a very, very exciting announcement that I will be announcing on Instagram and on my Facebook group, The Aspiring Lawyer. So if you haven't joined that, I'll leave the link to that below. I'm super excited for what's to come. I appreciate all the love and support. You guys send me a ton of DMs every single day. I still get comments on videos from years ago from a lot of you guys, and so I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.